Hello and thank you all for joining me. This is Manny Sunny Sun for a Mercury and Gemini astrological report. Mercury and Gemini. On this occasion, the presence is Mercury is in Gemini. We'll do an overview in the personal characteristics of this star and of this sign, where it is in its exaltation. Well, combined with the principle of mobility and usefulness, Mercury is placed in this air sign. It expresses a desire for discontinuous change. It embodies a state that wants to transient and can be modulated by the environment of the external environment, adaptable and gifted to be blending into the background. This calls for Mercury the abundance and changing of the brain food and brain chemistry. The variety of this subject of interest is highly desirable, and it does not keep with his mind on the same subject and can do drop out. Mercury on trade and processing of information is fundamental in each natal chart, since it affects the emotional factor as the astrological state of the moon, the way the information is interpreted and accepted by most ordinary. Will you retain communication that passes through these filters? These filters, of course, is from education. But your fields of experience, the experience of memories, the state of the native sky and its current exhibition. The state of your sky is constantly changing, so communication also changes from one period of lifetime to another. Depending on the period of your existence, you are most perceptive of certain information or are attached. Mercury, of course, plays a vital role in reasoning and analysis, and before any situation, even the most innocuous one. In one of his masters in Gemini, of course, is the standard of youthfulness, the emblem of curiosity. This sign represents the waking period of adolescence, which, of course, is the rush of a lot of questions, desire to experiment various fields. This Mercury does not analyze as much as a Mercury in Virgo does, his other dignity. Gemini, of course, it is experienced through geographical mobility and the desire for a life changing, for example, composed of multiple experience, many lifetimes in one. The Gemini mutable sign, therefore, is like a changing role play during his life. If the rest of the chart confirms this, then of course Mercury in Gemini does not always mean that movement synonymous for some instability. It expresses it in themes, professional pathways, in writing, in literary circles, or activities related to groups and young people. Sometimes it is present in the theme, it is therefore only to specify the kind of career guidance. The whole theme is sealing through the various information. Sometimes, contrary, it should also be noted to be careful before a Mercury in Gemini. Um, do not draw hasty conclusions. It is the same also for love life. And although that loving of diversity, Mercury, of course, in Gemini is not synonymous with emotional infidelity. We must remember that sentimental situations do not analyze perfectly in a single astrological location, but in the synthesis. Thus, the star aspects of locations are first the climate, the need to involve others and many. Mercury in Gemini has no affinity with the sentimental life. It refers primarily to the mind, completely cerebral, logical, and reason. Obviously, his role in the emotional life remains key because, as any sector in communication, it is fundamental in the emotional life couples, parents, child relationships, and family. The intellectual gluttony, if confirmed in the subject, can become an insatiable quest between feeding the mind and run the world to enrich cultural universe. Mercury in Gemini therefore does not always know how to choose. He may want to juggle his duality in because he cannot choose and give up the other. This star Gemini has some flexibility in trade and spontaneous attracts sympathies. His best quality is being a good comrade that makes someone wanted in society and appreciated. But if let the breath and life at their own pace, since from the outside it may reflect an inconsistency. The air sign of Gemini welcomes the star of the trade and movement, all the star signs and their steps to fit together in an alternating rhythm. Also, routine is not cut out for this astrological location that invites family and friends to change their habits in order to make money. It is usability must not be forgotten. The rogue aspect of this astrological position makes that for a trickster. So between cunning and shrewdness, the border is sometimes beheld. No doubt, this Mercury knows no boredom, child is precocious, and curiosity thirst is quite great. The astrological location is one that indicates of people which, in old age, still young at heart, or physical appearance. That is, the position in Mercury in Gemini makes for a beautiful butterfly, eager to explore life. The current dissonance happening right now in Mercury and Gemini is the additional main lines of Mercury and Gemini. Sometimes in mundane astrology, Mercury and Gemini is back in eventful. This is a program offered currently in the star and particularly in the coming days. Currently, Mercury Gemini opposes Saturn early in Sagittarius. This, of course, is probably one of the most reliable, durable reflections before signing a commitment or an instrument. In mundane astrology, it highlights communication problems, asking for to change. Um, his tune, Mercury in opposition Saturn, is played in mutable signs, which of course those who are able to review their positions to unblock the situations and allow the purpose of this evolution to happen. Mutable acts more on flexibility than on fixity. They propose questions, which is why this opposition offers countless hopes of negotiation and communication, which is not the case that occurs during fixed signs. The opposition claims an adjustment of things. After reflection, it is that of calculation to better negotiate a situation and implies perseverance before difficulties due to a mind of steel. It is, of course, this opposition because of stubborn resistance. Mercury, of course, encounters Saturn, a tussle involved in these types of configurations that, of course, is mutability, leading, of course, to concessions. This astrological climate, of course, is mistaken, is complicated by the presence of Neptune in dissonance. Mercury is a signature of questioning reliability and integrity, embezzlement, fraud, mistaken identities, misunderstanding, and persistence, bad-faith in communication are essential in this brief period. Mercury stays in the meshes of Saturn and Neptune. Astrological positions of Mercury and Gemini is currently in dissonance, as the star simultaneously receives the dissonance between Neptune, the square, located in Pisces. Mercury and Gemini, of course, is connecting these two outer planets, Saturn and Neptune, already in tensions that sows confusion in trade. During this brief period of May 4th through 2015 to June 30th of 2015, communication is likely to be more contentious and intervening within itself. It will mainly rely on the demotion of Mercury and Gemini to Neptune to complicate things, to really Mercury's demotional phase, dissonance between Gemini, will begin on May 19th, in the date from which the star will slowly and will stay away from the nets of Neptune and Pisces. Despite this short-lived episode and the aspect of Mercury square Neptune retrograde, Mars in Gemini in conjunction between Mercury and the stimulation between that square that we talked about in Neptune, we're dealing with these aspects conducive to communications conducted on indicatives, tones, and exhibiting the open hostilities between Mercury-Mars conjunction in dissonance from the aspect between Mercury and Neptune. Often these results from real comprehensions of problems when dissonance is strong. It conveys an atmosphere of rumors about deformations about the reputation of others, as well as fabrication of the universe, of lies, of fraud, fit for Mercury and Neptune in dissonance. This configuration of Mercury is as complicated and as short-lived as it also causes brain fatigue in astrological charts temporarily reactivated by this aspect. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been Mercury in Gemini. Thank you all for watching.